have 10,000 voters to know that at least we have some support before you will just waste their resources. Yes, and nomination of member for National Assembly, we maintain it at 300. And nomination of mayor or chairpersons be reduced from not less than 100 voters to not less than 1,000 voters from within. But we've made our recommendations, and I think those are the, yes. So if you come down, you will see that the sum proposed under clause 43.1, that is deposits. These are our recommendations here. You can all look at it. 43.1a, we are recommending as a committee that presidential candidates deposit $1 million. And for National Assembly members, we are doubling it from 5,000 to 10,000 because of the inflation. And mayor and mayores and chairpersons is also doubled to 6,000. Why are you paying deposits? You are just paying deposits. What is the use of paying deposits? We don't see any use of paying deposits. And for councillorship, that is put at 3,000, considering the income of the young people in the country who usually perform in that place. Honorable Speaker, we can continue. Just trying to give you perspective of certain areas so that you know that so many things have been changed. Yeah. Yes. Honorable Speaker, on page 26, let's go to 26, holding a demonstration or procession. Having examined clause 88 and reviewed the evidence presented before it, the committee proposed the following amendments. Recommendation that the word rally be added to the title of the clause to read as holding a demonstration, procession, or rally. There is a mistake there. It should have been procession. What they put there is procession. And 2, under clause 88.3, or rally to be added after procession and or before procession to be deleted. So that is the recommendation there. And then we can continue. On clause 107, that's page 28. That is trial of election petition. Having examined clause 101 and reviewed the evidence presented before it, the committee proposed the following amendments. That in clause 101.2, general amendment on ballot box drum be effected. The IEC has been complaining that they could not hold elections in the diaspora because they cannot carry all these ballot boxes and all these things, tokens, to various countries. It will be a big challenge. In fact, it's a big challenge, and that is the reason why. So throughout the bill, we are proposing that wherever there is token, we also put ballot drum to give opportunity to the IEC to conduct elections. Wherever they feel it is feasible to use ballot, they use ballot. Wherever it is feasible for them to use paper, they use paper, so that the diaspora will participate in elections. So we've agreed that with them, and that's what we have proposed.
Chair, Chair, I'm not clear. You mean if the bill comes in the force, they'll be using board papers and tokens?
Well, the IEC want to graduate from ballot box, but because it is not yet approved, if they put only one, it may cause problems. So we just put ballot box. Yeah, we put ballot drum and ballot paper, stroke ballot paper, so that they can decide whatever they want to use, depending on what is feasible for them at each given time.
No, I wanted to be clear. You said where it's feasible for them to use the ballot paper, they use it. For the marble, they use it. Meaning you are recommending
For both.
For both to be used at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. Register of political parties, where it is applicable. Having examined clause 107 and reviewed the evidence presented, the committee proposed the following. Yes, that is registration. The contentious issue is that in clause 3, in clause 107(2)(h), the registration fee of 1 million should be increased to $2 million. That is the recommendation of the committee. If you are registering a political party, you pay $2 million. You want me to read, but if I read, it will take a lot of time. Yeah. Yes, we go to clause 64, 139, that is on page 31. Yes, page 31. Communication with voters at polling station. Yes, the communication with voters at polling station. Our recommendation there is what was in the bill was security officer. That in clause 139(1), security officer be amended to police officer, so that there is no confusion between, some people may think that any other security officer can do it. So now we want just the police officer. And 2, the word blind be replaced with visually impaired. We are not using blind anymore. That's derogatory. Yeah, and then soon we will finish the recommendations. Yes, Honorable Speaker. The bill is important and crucial in the Gambia's transition and solidification of democratic rule. Page 34. It is important because government belongs to the people, thus requiring the people to serve in that government. Needless to say, it is incumbent upon the state to promulgate rules that prescribe how the electoral system operates, method of voting, class of citizens entitled to vote and be voted for, how to be voted into various offices, who conducts the electoral process, and the resources required to conduct various elections needed to fill elective public offices. By introducing this bill, the executive recognizes its role and sought to better the electoral system. Now the burden is on the legislature to duly and faithfully execute its mandate to the people of the Gambia. It is equally important to point out that laws in general, and particularly electoral laws, are the bedrock of the state's existence. To affirm the legitimacy of governments and the peaceful coexistence of the state, this assembly must not lose sight of this fact. This is one of the most important documents that we can deal with here. Therefore, care and consciousness should be applied in the scrutiny and approval of the laws before us. It is also important to remind this honorable assembly that other stakeholders that there is a need to periodically review these laws to either respond to emerging issues or address some of the lapses and loopholes. And we must do so considering the contemporary demand of our society and governance process. Once again, I thank the members of the Joint Committee, Local Regional Government, and the Human Rights Committee, the staff of the National Assembly attached to the Joint Committee, both former and present, Office of the Clerk, subject matter specialists, the civil society organizations, and Gambians of all walks of life, including the political parties, and their invaluable contribution in providing opinions and guiding the Joint Committee to reach its recommendation. We also thank the ordinary citizens across the country who have also given us their view of the bill. And you can see the members, the composition of the Joint Committee. I think you have all seen that. There is no need maybe to read that. And then the support staff is also mentioned. Mr. Marabi Hes Aydra, Mr. Abubakar Siddiq Kaba, Mrs. Fatou Jiba, Ms. Aissatou Sonko, Ms. Fatoumata Keita, Mr. Mamadou A. Mba, Ms. Fatoumata Sisao, Ms. Mary T. Mendy, Mr. Lamin Diba Esquire, Mr. Tony F. Mendy. These people have done a lot of work, so we commend them for all the work that they have done. Our subject matter specialist, Mrs. Hadi Dandin Jai Esquire, Mr. Kanu Salla, or Karu Salla, Mr. Chernobi Jallo, and Mr. Ablai Bondi. The composition of the rest of the committee members are there for your perusal. It will be interesting to mention political parties that have contributed to this. They've all given us papers, or they come to meet us to give us their view. Alliance for Patriotic Reorientation and Construction, APRC, Citizens Alliance, CA, Gambia for All, GFA, Gambia Moral Congress, GMC, Gambia Party for Democracy and Progress, GPDP, Gambia Action Party, GAP, GAP, Gambia Democratic Congress, GDC, National Reconciliation Party, NRP, National People's Party, NPP, People's Democratic Organization for Independence and Socialism, DOI, People's Progressive Party, PPP, United Democratic Party, UDP, Inter-Party Committee also gave us their view. And the following institutions have also contributed. You can see all of them. It is important to, because these people live all the way from the provinces to come and meet us quickly. Independent Electoral Commission, National Human Rights Commission, Gambia Public Procurement Agency, Banjul City Council, Kanifi Municipal Council, Brikama Area Council, Basse Area Council, Mansakongo Area Council, Kerewan Area Council, Kuntauru Area Council, Janjambure Area Council, Gambia Association of Local Government Authorities, CSO Coalition on Election, Action Aid the Gambia, West Africa Network for Peace Building, Migration and Sustainable Development Goal Project, Diaspora Gambia, Gambia Federation for the Disabled, National Democratic Institute. Honorable Speaker, we thank your office. We also thank the National Assembly Service for facilitating all the process for this report to be laid here today. Thank you very much.
Member for Olyundum and Deputy Majority Leader.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. I rise to second the motion, and of course, also wanted to highlight some observation from the report tabled by the Joint Committee on Human Rights and Constitutional Matters, as well as the Local Government Committee. Honorable Speaker, the report is good, the structure is very good. I think they've highlighted most of the things that are in the elections bill. Having had, consultation with relevant stakeholders from both in the Gambia and outside, I think they have done a very good job. One of the observations I wanted to highlight, perhaps I know I was supposed to be part of the committee, the members were supposed to look at the bill, but unfortunately I wasn't, so I need some explanation. On one of the recommendations made by the committee, where on page 16, on the section 43(1), the committee recommended that the amount for deposit for the president to be increased from, I think it was 10,000 now to almost $1 million. So the one for the National Assembly member from $5,000 to $10,000. So I just want the justification for that. Why do we have to increase the one for the president from 10,000 to 1 million? If you look at the percentage. Well, okay, 5,000 to 500,000. Yeah, 500. Okay, 50% to 1 million. And the one for National Assembly member from 5,000 to $10,000. So I just wanted to recommend, because I'm not saying because I'm in the parliament that we need to increase so that other people will not have the chance to come. But we need to look at these things very critically. The amount that is paid for deposit is not much, but also can serve as a very good measure for certain things as far as the IEC is also concerned. So I just want explanation, the rationale behind adding, increasing the amount deposit for the president from 500 to 1 million, and then the National Assembly from 5,000 to 10,000. given the fact that they are both. Huh? No, it's not that. It's from 500,000 to 1 million, of course. Maybe the mover of the motion will respond to that. You understand what I mean?
Honorable Member for Olindum, what, 500,000 or 10,000 for president?
No, of course, on the report is mentioned, is only the amount that has been increased. The proposed amount now is 1 million. So they did not mention how much was the deposit.
Yeah, deposit was 10,000.
Okay, that's what I said before. For the presidency?
President, yes.
So from 10,000 to 1 million. And then the one for the National Assembly members were from 5,000, I think, to 10,000 now. So the difference is too much. We need to look at that. We should be able to look at that. I think that is one of the observations I made. And then the one for the mayoral and the chairperson also, I don't know from what amount before, now to 6,000. Also, we need to look. Are we adding by percentage, or are we only looking at the amount, the figure, and you know, you need to set a figure for the deposit for presidency, member of parliament, chairperson, and mayors and councillors. If we are taking it by percentage, of course, we need to look at it. What is the percentage for presidency from 5,000 to what amount? And what is going to be the percentage for National Assembly member from 5,000 to what other amount? That is how I wanted to, what I wanted to ask. Maybe you can dilate on that more. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Olindum and Deputy Majority Leader. It has been moved and seconded that this Honorable Assembly do consider the report of the Joint Committee of Human Rights and Constitutional Matters and Local Government, Lands, IEC, and Ombudsman on the Election Bill 2021. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Honorable members, any honorable member who wishes to take part in the debate may do so now by show of tag. Beginning with the member for Kiang West.
I want to thank the committee for giving us this bill today. This bill is so dear to me and to a lot of Gambians, because if you look at the stakeholders that were interacted with, definitely that tells you how important this bill is to the democracy of this country, to ensure good governance in this country, to ensure sufficient political participation. Honorable members of parliament, at this juncture, it reminds me of a lot, but however, what is more important in ensuring that we have free and fair elections, and we have competent leadership for our country? I have not heard that. If the mover of the motion could remind me of any clause or where we talk about the qualification for candidature. The qualification for candidature of a National Assembly membership is only English proficiency. Proficiency in English. That's the qualification to come here and decide for this country. That needs to be looked at. It's unfair to citizens. Honorable Speaker, let us not be very stringent to deny people from representation who have an ability to. But at least we should be able to set a minimum standard that members could attain to come here and represent citizens. Decisions, if this bill is passed any day, which means we have decided for this country. We have decided for this country as to how elections should be conducted, as to how the commission would be constituted, and every other thing that governs election. And without a proper election law, we cannot have a free and a fair election. And there will always be chaos. There will be no trust between leadership and the rules. So I suggest that for the presidency and that of the National Assembly membership, for the bar to be raised a little bit high. At least a higher national diploma or a degree, first degree, would be better. Or a higher national diploma could at least be better. But just English proficiency to come and decide for the country. Bills are coming, we are not looking at them sufficiently. Budgets are coming that decides the lives of the people. We're not looking at them sufficiently because of the mastery of the area or our understanding of the subject matter is limited because of the capacity gap. Sometimes you would all agree with me, if you travel outside the jurisdiction of this country, you interact with other members of parliament. I could remember during our engagement with the Goodluck Jonathan Foundation, somebody told us that most of the members, what I have observed from you, your debate is not on evidence base. You can only debate on evidence base when you understand the subject matter. And this needs to be taken care of if we want to have a sufficient leadership for this country. A leadership that does not concentrate on politics, but that concentrates on national building. We need to have this. This is what is more important and more substantial today. This is why people can go out there and they don't tell anything to people, but just to tell NPP has done this, UDP has done this, but they cannot tell them exactly what affects their daily lives, what affects their health, what affects their infrastructure, what affects their agriculture, what affects their education. They cannot tell them because they don't know. They can only go into their houses and give them monies at late night, and they are voted in office and come here. They cannot decide for the country. It's unfair. It's unfair. So let's raise the bar a little bit so that we have people here who represent the country, so that we will all be happy. We will all be happy. Decisions can be decided for the country, not emotional based, not on partisan line, not on political line, but for the interests of the country, and you can understand what you're talking about. Honorable Speaker, thank you very much for giving me an opportunity.
Thank you very much, member for Kiang West. I now give the floor to the member for Nyanija.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. And then I want to thank the committee, the joint committee rather, for doing a very good job. I can remember this bill have been in Parliament since the last legislature. Coming today, seeing the report from the joint committee, of course, I want to thank you. Not forgetting the previous committee members rather. That is in the 5th legislature, the Human Rights Committee and that of the Local Government Committee. They started the process, and unfortunately they couldn't finish it, but they have done something too. So your efforts is hereby acknowledged. Honorable Speaker, what we are looking at here today is a very important report coming from engagements from the Standing Committee on Human Rights and of course the Select Committee on Local Government, on a very important bill, that is the Elections Bill 2023. Honorable Speaker, there are many legislation that will come here, but as far as democracy and democratization processes are concerned, this is one of the most important bills that will ever come here. There are a lot of issues that the committee highlight based on the different clauses and based on their engagements. And then the issues varies from one to the other. But of course, I want to thank you for the extensive engagement, because I have seen a lot of stakeholders being involved, both from the government, from the civil society, and of course, from the people that we represent. So I thank you so much for the engagement. Your efforts are really acknowledged. I just have some few issues that I definitely want to highlight, whether we can consider amending in the report, because I know we will come to the Committee of Supply when we are doing the consideration. First of all, I know many people are talking about that's the issue of deposit. It is important for us to speak the current realities, as things were yesterday, they are different from today, especially with regards to inflation rates, monetary value, and so on. It is very easy for someone today to just acquire $10,000 and say, I'm going to deposit and run for presidential or whatever. I think these are issues that we need to consider. I'm seeing the recommendation of $1 million. I think it should be amended to be another significant figure, sort of like 2 million, because it's not, to be a president is not a child's play. You definitely have to be up to the task, both financially and of course, both mentally, as the Constitution dictates. So National Assembly, I'm seeing an allocation and suggestion of 10,000. I will recommend that we go at least 100,000 minimum, at least. And this follows suits in others like the local government for the chairperson, the council chairperson, one can say 50,000. And so these are my recommendations that can be considered. I'm proposing amendments. Yes. Please follow your standing orders, understand the rules and procedure as far as reports of this nature are concerned. Please. For the other issue that I don't agree with the report, that is the issue of nomination requirement. I think this is a very important issue. Let us remember one thing, constituencies are different. I come from a constituency that have a voter population of 5,000 plus. Others come from constituencies that have a voter population of 40,000. For 40,000. You can tell me a 40,000 voter population, you just need 300 voters to nominate you. A constituency of 5,000, you need 300 voters to nominate you. It does not match as far as I am concerned. So what I'll propose is we put it in percentage. Let's say 10% of the voters, 5% of the voters to nominate you. Then thereby we will have a balanced nomination. But I will struggle in my small constituency.
You have 1 minute to wrap up.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I will struggle to have, let's say, 1,000 voters in Nyanija to be nominated, like if you are having, let's say, more candidates or so. But like if you say a percentage, it will be evenly distributed in all the constituencies. And this applies, it can be applied to even the presidential percentage of voters. This is what should be captured as far as I'm concerned. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for the 1 minute.
Thank you. I decided to give him 1 minute because he's my boss, so I am scared. Yes. Thank you very much, Member for Nyanija. I now give the floor to the member for Fonyi Jaro.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I commend the Committee on Regional Government report, the Joint Committee on Regional Government, Lands, Ombudsman, and IEC, Human Rights and Constitutional Matters, for a job well done. I don't have much to say. Going by your report, I'm just looking at your interpretations of some of the words, like you mentioned their coalition. I think, well, where you conclude, you should not conclude there, because the purpose of the coalition coming together, the intent here is to remove the incumbent. So just continue to put that to remove, with the purpose of removing the incumbent. Because that's the purpose why they are coming together. Because when they did not win independently, so now they want to come together to remove. And on the side of the setting standards, I would disagree. We're talking about democracy, and then democracy is all about equal opportunities. So when we say we want to give equal opportunities to all the people, we cannot set standard for that. I think that's the responsibility of the political parties, to know who is representing them. So, but not us to set standards here, who should be coming here. At least political parties should know who are we going to select to represent us, so that when they come, competence would be judged here. So I think we have to leave it open to that. I think if parties don't know that they should select a competent person, then it's not our fault to know who should be coming here. I think we can leave it there. And on the nomination requirements, well, I don't know. When you say nomination requirements, the 300 there, and then what the person should have in order to be nominated. And then sometimes you look at the number of people also who are coming out. Like we are saying, a small constituency like my Fonyi Jarol. So last time, about 9 members want to contest. The last number to contest was 7. Each was asked about 300, and it's not going to be repeated. 300 multiplied by 7 is about how many? We are talking about 2,100. Some of them are not even there, and the total number of voters is less than 5,000. So I think the number there is okay. We have to look at it. So I think I'll leave everything till when we come back to the committee of what? Supply. Then I'll supply more. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the member for Fonyi Jarol. I'm not sure what you're going to supply. There are a lot of good thing that you can supply from Fonyi. I now invite the member for Bakau.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I thank the mover of the report and the entire membership of the committee for a job well done. Honorable Speaker, I have one observation of which I want some more clarification from the mover. According to the report, the committee received position papers from the inter-party committee and some political parties on CSOs. You've indicated that you've received position papers of which the report didn't highlight any of their recommendations, or of which I would want you to elaborate more and give us some clue of their position papers. Thank you.
Thank you, member for Bakau. I now give the floor to the member for Brikama South.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Again, I also want to thank the Joint Committee, the Committee on Regional Government, Land, IC, and Ombudsman, and that of the Human Rights Committee. I think this is a hectic job. It entails a lot of engagement in and outside the country. And almost you can look at the number of stakeholders that are identified to interact with them about a legislation that need to guide the country in recruiting some of the future politicians and even the government of the country. It's a very important job. It's always difficult for us to be at the same wavelength in terms of understanding. No, going forward also, you will agree with me that some of the laws are very diverse and people virtually will not agree on them. But there is two areas where I want to lay emphasis. The other one is about the issue of attestation. I think this has been a very serious gateway for the region, and this has been a problem. As a serious country, a mature adult of 18 years should be prepared to have the vital documents that will allow you to register, rather than somebody somewhere to attest you. In the report, they have removed the alkali, the chief. It's only the alkali that is maintained. But there are certain areas, legible Gambians or bona fide citizens of this country will come to that area without the notice of the alkali. So these are issues, sometimes it creates a lot of problems. And I think this is one of the fundamental problems that always result to political chaos. And for us as a country, if we want to avoid this, the issue of conflict in our electoral process, the issue of attestation should go out. I know it's not going to be easy. I happen to be part of the team that went around in the country in 2020 for us to engage them on this issue. But it was highly contentious. Even at community level, people challenge it, some will support it. And the other one I want to talk is the diaspora voting. The committee is recommending where feasible and who determine that. I think we need to come out with a clear-cut approach. How are we going to bring in diaspora to vote in our elections? But not telling us where feasible, who determine it, because we are using token, whether both token, and we are going to apply both token and ballot voting, paper voting. So these are the issues that we have to look at it so that we can decide. And I know if we go to the committee of consideration, it's not going to be easy for us to agree. But remember, we are designing this legislation for the future electoral process that are coming in. So we have to be extra careful. I know it was consultative, but still, before we go to the committee of supply, we need to have thorough engagement individually at our respective constituencies. And even if you believe that you have experts that are very much au fait with the electoral process, and see what is feasible in the Gambia. But some of them, these two areas need to be very much clear before we go to the Committee of Supply, the issue of attestation and the diaspora voting. On that note, I thank you, Honorable.
Thank you very much, member for Brikama South. I now give the floor to the member for Nyani.
Honorable Speaker, I've withdrawn.
Thank you. Member for Serekunda, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. We are all given the right to contest for public office as per the dictates of the Constitution. Section 26 of the Constitution states, if I may read, every citizen of the Gambia of full age and capacity shall have the right without unreasonable restrictions to take part in the conduct of public affairs directly or through freely chosen representative. B, to vote and stand for elections at genuine periodic elections for public office, which elections shall be by universal and equal suffrage and be held by secret ballot. So on that note, just because we have the powers to set standards and set the bar too high that may contravene the laws of the Gambia. We have heard some people are saying educational standards. Most of the African countries are doing away with that because it's a borrowed language. And what determines intelligence? What determines intelligence? Going to school, passing your exams, is that what is intelligence? And most of the formulas today that we are learning in the universities, in schools, were discovered by uneducated people, like the Pythagoras theorem. Honorable Speaker, elections is about building a society, understanding your society. Let's not degrade our people who does not have the opportunity to go to school like we did. Honorable Speaker, what we are saying here, I feel that the bar, we are setting it too high by attaching a lump sum amount of money to contest. And it is also somehow, I am disappointed to hear from some of the second-time members in these chambers trying to raise the amount. What are you afraid of? Let's give other people the chance to contest, Honorable Speaker. For me, I'm not afraid. If I come here next time, that will be the decision of my people. If I don't come here, I will continue my journey to help my country to grow out of poverty. Honorable Speaker, so my advice to the committee is to revisit that it is on clause 43 regarding to payment of deposit. So on that note, I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, member for Serekunda. I now recognize the member for Sanementre.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. First, I will thank the mover of the report and equally thank their support staff, as well as committee clerks and whosoever they might have interacted with by giving us a comprehensive report. Honorable Speaker, having looked at the report, there are a few points that I have observed, and this I want to deliberate on. Honorable Speaker, first is the duration of the vote from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Honorable Speaker, I propose, or I suggest when we come to Committee of Supply, we look at this seriously, because from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., I think that time is very, very limited. Because when we look at other elections, from the presidential to the parliamentary, and of course the local government elections, at times we vote till 8 p.m. It happens sometime ago, the presidential election. From 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., so I think this one we need to look at it properly and even adjust the time, if not from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., but it should not go to 8 to 4 p.m. Also, the rights to vote or right to vote for our citizens in diaspora. Honorable Speaker, I think this is long overdue. It is long overdue that these are citizens of this country and they have right to vote, like children have right to play. It is their right to vote, and they should have all right to vote. And the IEC, and of course the Parliament, should come up with the most feasible time, transparency, and affordable way for the people of diaspora to come in and vote, or to vote. Honorable Speaker, I tend to concur with Honorable Member of Olyundum constituency in adjusting the deposit for about 50%. Why do we have to do that, Honorable Speaker? Adjusting it to 50%, I don't think this is fair to the citizens of this country. We are National Assembly members, and we need to enact laws that will empower the citizens of this country in the most effective way, but not ways that will distract them, not ways that will stop them from paying what they're supposed to pay in order to enter this parliament or to become a president of this country, Honorable Speaker. I think 50%, Honorable Member of Olyundum, thank you very much for coming up with that suggestion of being 50% or increment of 50% is on a high rate. Honorable Speaker, I will also differ with Honorable Member of Nyanija. Honorable Member of Nyanija, I don't think it is justifiable for the high increment of deposits that we propose. I know it's a proposal. You can even come up with 50 million if you want. But then I think this is not on a fair side. We need to look at this properly and then be fair to the people of our citizens. I don't say you're not fair to the people of your country, but then let's look at it at the right way. Honorable Speaker, I beg to take my seat. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I now give the floor to the member for Joshua.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. And I also join my colleagues to thank the committees who were responsible of this report. Honorable Speaker, to start with, I don't know whether I didn't go through the whole page, but it's like among their recommendations, I haven't seen anywhere they mention the use of local language in National Assembly, which is very, very important. I think it should have been part of the recommendation that we should use local language in National Assembly. Reason being, Honorable Speaker, is very clear. Yes, we are here talking, but who are the people down there listening to us? How many of us are educated who are there listening to us debating here? Most of them, they are not educated. So the issue of setting standard or giving out qualification to people coming to this assembly should not be something that we should even discuss here per se. There are people who are not lucky to go to English schools. There are people who are attending Arabic schools, and they are well educated. They have the wisdom. We have seen businessmen who have not even been to schools, and they have established very good business. So where is the qualification that we are looking at here? I think it is important we always consider those poor people living with us and who are also trying to be here as we are here today, not only because of qualification, but because of Allah destined us to be here. But let's consider them as people that should be here. They're not even setting qualification to say we want PhD holders, we want degree holders to be here. If they can speak the language, let them come here. Even if we are to change, let's change the language from English to the local language. Or any of this language, can be used here at the Parliament. Honorable Speaker, the issue of the ballot paper, I think we need to look at this thing properly. Not what they are doing outside is fit for this country. Even the marble that we are using, at times we always see people who go to cast their vote and they don't even know where to put those marbles. Neither more the ballot paper. When you go and see the jarankas, they cannot identify pictures, and then you start giving them ballot papers to select their own candidate and put it in that white box as we normally see in other countries. I think it's important we maintain our marbles as they are well recommended worldwide, and people are praising our marbles. They are a very good way of doing our elections, so let's maintain those marbles and introducing these ballot papers. Honorable Speaker, I might differ with others with regards to the issue of the fees. Yes, we want everybody to be here. But at times, let's look at the president per se. You want to be head of state of this country, and you are a poor man like Sir. Even to look for your deposit is a problem, and you still want to head. You want to lead the country. Next minute, what people start saying, Fanla Ameli, Kanda Amli, Kanda Fit. I think we need to look at things and then see what is possible to see, to raise the amount to a level where people are to compete in that position will be able to fit those bills. Some people want to be an independent candidate. They can come up with a figure, at least from, some are saying 1 million, but I'm in line with my brother here to say we raise it to 2 million. But our next, go to Senegal, how much are they asking? They're asking in millions. And yes, people are still contesting. Yes, people are going for the position. Let's look at the fees that we are charging. They are very, very small, to be honest with you. They are very, very small. Because looking for the position of National Assembly, they're saying $5,000. Now it is raised to $10,000. Even with that, I'm saying, and it is small. I'm suggesting we raise it to $200,000, if possible. For the position of a mayor of a whole area, you're talking about $6,000 for the position of mayor. That $6,000 also is very small. At least raise it high, because being a mayor is not a small area that you are heading. So let's look at the amount that we are charging, not to see the positions as position that is just easy to go or easy to write out. Let's look at things properly, and then I guess on this thing, on the figures. Honorable Speaker, I think not much to say until we come to the committee of the whole House, because there we can look at things properly and then see. But I have an issue here that I'm a bit confused. I want the mover to help me. Clause 42(2), nomination of mayor or chairperson be reduced from not less than 100 votes to not less than 1,000 votes.
Thank you. I now give the floor to the member for Sami.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the Joint Committee, Regional Government, Land, Ombudsman, IEC, Human Rights and Constitutional Matters. Honorable Speaker, this report is a very important report. Honorable Speaker, we should have said this in our local language, to be candid, because this really affects our electorates. You know, we should be very careful. I don't want to name a country. We once went to a country where we meet with, parliamentarians. One of them was unable to write his or her name. I was surprised that day. Going to school does not mean that you are on top of others. Language is a barrier for others, much more a foreign language. Honorable Speaker, this is why we should look at this so that the proceeding of the National Assembly will be in our own local language, so that people can hear what you are saying. Honorable Speaker, this attestation,
Can I observe you?
this attestation in the report, Honorable Speaker, this attestation in the report, Honorable Speaker, the Alcalo knows his people than any other person. I really support that. You don't expect a chief to attest somebody that he did not know or she did not know. But an Alcalo must know his people. Honorable Speaker, when we look at the amount that the president should pay, as Speaker said, kunyume akara, dengan nyume kan. Nintujo diata menye, ibe jatu fio kelal. It's not an easy position, Honorable Speaker. I'm quite in line with to reduce it to 2 million, Honorable Speaker. To raise it. But, Honorable Speaker, when we come down to the National Assembly members, it's a different issue, Honorable Speaker. Because why? Others, they contest on independent issue. So you cannot make it to increase that up to high. If you do that, you are not bringing democracy. Yes. If you increase it too much, you are blocking others. You don't others to contest. So therefore, 10,000 is enough for National Assembly.
The member for Sami.
Yes.
For National Assembly, if you increase it, you are hindering democracy.
Yes.
But for the president, if you increase...
Don't you hear what I said? Don't you hear what I was saying? It's not an easy position. It's not an easy position. You want to be on top of everybody, so you have to pay more, Honorable Speaker. Please. So, and you cannot be a president and you don't have anything. We know how some of us come here. You all know. You know how you come here. Some of us, we came here through independent, through others. We know. So if you make it high, you are blocking others. So it should not be high, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, our friends in diaspora, they are contributing a lot in our election. So we should be very careful. This time, we should give them time to vote. They should have a voice. The vote is their voice. Let them vote. As they put it, where it is applicable, when there is a ballot box or a paper, whatever is there, let them just have a right to vote. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much. I think what the mover is saying, probably to provide stations outside, but they have right to vote if they come. Maybe to provide stations outside.
That maybe if they want to provide a ballot token, that will be difficult. That will be difficult. That's why I'm saying that they make either ballot box or paper.
But they are not barred from voting if they want to come.
No, they can vote wherever they are. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay. I now thank you, member for Sami. Now the floor is to the member for Lower Salum.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor, and thank you, honorable members. And again, I was a former member of this committee. But again, members will not be here for playing the gallery, showing their interest. Honorable Speaker, most of that talking about inflations and other things. But we have gone round from Kadun to Koina. What the committee members said about this bill is progressive. You know, there will be a time, in fact, the IEC itself will be in a hot soup. We are not here to play the gallery. Each of us, even you are asked to pay $1 million. If God doesn't decide to be here, you will not be here. Let's do the right thing. How many independents that they knew they would not win the election just to come and make violence and other things? This was the context. There are others that has not even been in this country for years. They vie for them to get a cabinet ministry post. This is why they how to call it? They went for nominations. There are a parliamentary member who contacted. Sorry. In their other constituencies, they have never been there for years. You know, we have to put things straight. What the committee members were telling us, in fact, not me, it's in records, because during that committee engagement, the community clerk, we are recording. There are records. There's vying for presidency. It's not how to call it, that small position. Vying for parliamentary, it's not a small position. I get my second term. Even if it's $100, by the grace of the Almighty, I'll be back here if I want to vie the next term, because I'm very close to my people. But let's make things right. We cannot put IC on a hot soup. Where is budget allocation? They all depend on donor funding. Are we here to give money, donor funding to IC? No. What the members of the committee of the general public said, we put it there. And in fact, it's not in the report. The fifth legislature make a good recommendation on this issue. And they have worked very well. We are not restricting anybody to come to this parliament. Whoever got this designed to be in this parliament will be in this parliament. Neither the presidency. But we have to put things accordingly. Before that, because Niman sees you're doing, you understand? We have to protect this country. You can't be, allowed. What is democracy? In fact, putting on this, we are told that these tokens, you understand, these ballot tokens are the best in the world. And people are coming to study this here. In fact, of the matter, the diaspora cannot vote. Let's call it, because the IC are constrained the budgetary allocation. Let's speak the truth. We are all here. And the IC, they cannot do it. And they cannot do it. Whoever wants to vote, come here and vote. Every year they are coming for holidays. If they want to vote, it's just a particular time. Come, pay your ticket and come and vote. But a small country like this, how to call it, we have a constraint of a budgetary allocation for IEC because the government are not giving nothing to IEC. Though they are independent body, they all depend on their donor funding. Which as a country are we going to do? Well, let's establish IEC first before you establish it, because of you have diaspora. Who will win? Nobody knows. But if they think that they can do it, let them come back and vote for their country, and they have voices. Again, Honorable Speaker, 1,250,000 was identified for presidency. National Assembly 125. This is not my. This is a committee article engagement. So we have to put things straight, not blaming each other, saying that be justice. What is?
Yeah, please summarize.
Honorable Speaker, the issue is we are making laws, and we are targeting in the future. You know, not us. There are members here who went for the ruling parties. They give how many monies? Are they here? No, but we are going to protect IEC. How many members? Very well. In fact, I saw somebody in my constituency, he campaigned for $28,000. There are members who lose for $500,000. They are not in position today. Let's do things right. We are not here to play the gallery. That people take that you are out of the equation. No. Let's make things straight. Vying for this article, I'm going for parliamentary $125,000. For presidency, $1,250,000. For chairmanship, I'm going for sorry, Honorable Speaker. 1 minute. For chairmanship, I'm going for $50,000. For councilorship, $25,000. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Member for Lower Salom. I now give the floor to the member for Talinding Kunjang.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. We are dealing with a very important report
Order Sabasanjal and Fonyi Bintang. If you want, you can take the floor.
We are dealing with a very important report talking about the election bill. Looking at some of the issues that have been raised, I want to add my voice to a few of them. First and foremost is the attestation. I agree with the decision or the recommendation of the committee that to remove CFOs and accept only Alcalos attestation. We know the peculiarity of our villages and then our districts, how a CFO is not able to know specifically the natives of particular villages. But yes, somebody said there are challenges with attestations. Yes, we should try to do away with it. But are we in that time right now? Yes, we should have alternatives to every Gambian is entitled to an ID card. We should provide, the state should provide all of them. But as we speak, the reality in the ground, are we able to provide all of them? Is it accessible to all from all corners of this country? Documentation is an issue still in this country. You go to some fuller hamlets, the whole hamlets, nobody with paper. So on a more serious note, the time is not right yet to tell every Gambian should have an ID card. Yes, we should. But then people should vote. Remember, people should vote at the age of 18. How many of those 18-year-olds in those far distant up-country villages can even trek to go to the nearest ID card stations to have? Even it's chargeable as well. Cost. There's cost as well. So we have to look at all of this. Is this my time? Yes, that's your time. Yes. So we have to look at the cost, involved in it. And then also my only argument is how do we provide this attestation? For village level, it's okay for Alikalo to individually identify people in the village. But for urban settlements like Talinding and other places, it's not sufficient for only Alikalo. So my suggestions in this area is for the form attestation that will be provided to indicate informants that would help with the Alcalo to rely on to justify who is a Gambian and not a Gambian. On the issue of the marble and paper ballot, yes, I love marbles. It's unique. It's our identity. We created it. Yes, but reality on the ground, is it feasible? We look at the number of parties that are growing. The number of candidates that are growing. IEC is supposed to provide all the materials for all these people. Go to these centers. They even have problem with storage facilities. Every election, we have to paint, take contract, paint all these facilities, all these materials, and some of these things. So there is high cost on taxpayers' money providing these issues. The most cost-effective approach is paper balloting. Paper balloting, yes, I'm against it has many approaches. I'm against the ticking or tampering, like I indicated somewhere else. You have multiple balloting where you have different candidates with their pictures and logos on each separate paper. You come and pick here, you go to your corner and select which one. It's almost the same like ballot box. What is on a ballot box? The color of your party, the picture of the candidate, and the logo. What is on the paper? The color of the party, the picture of the candidate, and the logo. The difference is you cannot say an illiterate who can vote in a ballot box, in a ballot token, cannot identify. If he identify the box, he cannot identify his candidate on the paper. So for me, they are all the same. If their IEC is able to separate them so that you don't have to tick, because the illiteracy level will not allow us that. So the candidate, somebody said, yes, we are restricting with the amount of deposits and others. We are restricting, other Gambians to participate. But he quoted the Constitution and said, unreasonable restriction. And the catchword is unreasonable. So if there are reasonable restrictions, even age limit, people who are eligible to vote, there is a restriction. You understand? So who is qualified to vote?
Okay, 30 seconds.
Yes, because we, the IEC, as the operating body, those who police the political space, must have to look at reasonable restrictions to ensure that people who participate are people who are eligible, qualified, and serious players. The way we are going, we need serious players in politics. It's not about restricting anybody. Serious players. We've seen parties who have registered, they cannot even hold Congress. We've seen people who have registered, and then when it comes to nomination, the next time you know it, they are into other supporting other parties. So we need serious players in the game. And also, there are dubious activities that surround these nominations. Sometimes you want to win, you go and sponsor somebody to vie for independent. The person has no chance to contest, but you are putting up a candidate to ensure that he destroys this thing. You understand? So those tactics, we have to control it to ensure that, it's not just, abuse the system. People, even for me personally, even the deposit that we do, there must be a percentage that will retain.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Nominated member Fatou K. Jawara, you have the floor.
Honorable Speaker, I'm protesting today because I told these chambers that they should not be calling me after Honorable Baji, but they make it as a norm now. Honorable Speaker, I just have a limited intervention. Honorable Speaker, going through the document before us, the report by the committee, I'm not convinced with the report, and I don't think I will support it until and unless when I get a response from the mover of the report. Honorable Speaker, we cannot just change law because we want to change law. Though the country is healing and we are making progressive things, which the election bill is part of. But I don't think IEC as a body can be able to accommodate all what we are saying here, Honorable Speaker. Starting with the diaspora voting. If we make this thing as a law now, is the IEC in a position to demarcate diaspora, to have a consequence of its own, or to even have a representative in this national parliament? Honorable Speaker, the issue of attestation that members keep repeating, I think we should go by our culture as well. Yes, I'm in support of the attestation for the alcalo, but the CFOs also should not be exempted. If you look into this parliament as a whole, when you consider members of the parliament and you leave the latter part aside, like the speaker, how would it tell? In our culture, before, when we have issues, you first go to the alcalo. From there, if you cannot reshuffle it, you go to the CFO, locally called in our Mandinka, Alisingafo. So you cannot say that the alcalo will be qualified to give an attestation and we remove the CFO. They all have an equal right, and the CFO is in the latter part. I think that one is uncalled for. Honorable Speaker, yes, I think these are the only recommendations. I want to quote clause 8, but I don't think it's necessary because somebody has already spoke about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, may I now call upon the mover to respond to issues raised and wind up the debate.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, let me acknowledge the presence of the members of the IEC and staff, as well as the personnel from the Ministry of Justice. They've all been part of this scrutiny, and they've done great guiding while we were engage in this. Let me now go to the comments made by members or interventions made by members. Starting with Kiang West. The member for Kiang West was mentioning language in the House. I think that is our responsibility to ensure that we come up with an act. The Constitution is saying it's the National Assembly that should come with an act so that people use national languages in this place. So while we are trying to make it easier for everybody to come here and speak the language of your choice, the member is making it, in fact, making it a bit more complicated for others to come here and to do that. In terms of since it is a constitutional provision to change language or whatever regarding language, we have agreed with the IEC to work after this to see whatever provision that is in the laws, relating to elections and election matters. We can look at them to see how to amend them, how to bring it here so that we can amend those ones. So he's asking for people who are with better proficiency in language to come here. I think that's your recommendation. Well, you can clarify later. Qualification. That's what I'm saying. Qualification is in the Constitution relating to language. For Nyanija, I think he's saying, he's commending the Fifth Assembly. We thank you for that. Issue of deposits again. President's deposit to go to 2 million. Well, that's a recommendation that's made by some people during scrutiny. Several people say 2 million. Some people say 3 million. Others even say more. But others also say, let's leave it as it is. So we look at all those things. But looking at the financial situation of the Gambians, the committee decided to come up with 1 million, because what was there, the last election, or the last 2 elections, what was there, originally it was put at 500, but then we rescinded it to 10 million, 10,000. This is why because of the people mentioning different deposits, different thresholds, we resolved that, well, to make it a compromise, let's take 1 million. And in the bill, the original bill, what is there is 1 million. That is in the original bill. So this is why we say we maintain what is at the nominators to be done in percentage. That's an innovation we can look at, because like you said, it was a big challenge to us when we are looking at this bill. We look at Janjambure, which is a village, 1,200 votes. Huh? If you raise the threshold for nominators, it may affect those people. Huh? And there are also some small consequences. And then when we debated all that, we said, well, let's reduce the threshold so that it does not affect others as much. Yes. So maybe if we use the percentage, like, we are not the only one who mentioned that. Somebody also mentioned that during our meeting, that we can make it into percentages. But I don't know how complicated that would be for IEC to go in for that. For Foni Jarol, the definition of coalition depends on the parties. Well, that's what he was questioning. So the agreement, whatever the parties that come together or individuals, whatever agreement they make, they give that to the IEC. That will show what type of coalition they want to establish. For Bakau, he was talking about the addendum. I believe there must be an oversight. But all these parties, what they have told us is with us. And I believe that they should be able to, maybe it's too bulky because all these parties putting all these things, if you want to bring all that, maybe that is a challenge. But it's an oversight. We should be able to have the attachments. That's a good observation. Honorable Speaker, for Brikama North, attestation should not have taken place now. Brikama South is saying attestation should not have taken place now. Yes, big argument in that. He is also a member. A lot of debate on that. But after looking at all the things that have been said and considering that the birth certificates have also been issued everywhere, some of us said, well, maybe that will suffice. Everybody has birth certificate, or vast majority have birth certificates. We thought that those who did the registration will continue to do registration so that everybody in the country will get birth certificates. So there would not be any need for attestation. But still now people, members insist that since we cannot attest to that, it is better for us to maintain attestation. And when we are maintaining attestation, let's maintain it to the alcalde doing it. Because the chiefs are there. Maybe they know their village, but all the other villages, they don't know much about that. They should depend on the alcaldes. So instead of making it a bureaucratic matter, let's just allow the alcalde. But the IEC will come up with a regulation as to how even the alcalde is going to do, the form they are going to use, etc., etc. And there are penalties in the bill. If anybody flout those and go and register foreigners or whatever, and you are caught, you'll be dealt with according to the law. I thank Nyani for withdrawing. Serakunda, the bar should not be set too high. Section 26 of the I agree. If you set the bar too high, you are, disallowing some other people to participate. If you set it too low, you are making it very difficult for the IEC to also do their work. These are all two things there. But unreasonable restriction mentioned by Talinding, I think we should all focus on that so that we don't unduly deprive anybody of his or her right. So I entirely agree that we put that behind our minds. But that's also Section 26, the constitutional provision, and whatever amendments we want to do there, well, we have to work on that later. Sani mentoring. You've mentioned you say 8 to 5. Well, that's what we have agreed. We considered what you were saying to give more time to electors. But by 5, anybody that is, at the polling station by 5, no matter what number, they will have to continue voting until they are done. So, and the IEC's proposal that they don't want to conduct elections in the darkness, we all know not every part of this country is electrified. And even where you have electricity, sometimes here and there it goes off. And therefore, when we thought of that, we agreed that, we should ensure that election is done when, when we all see what is happening there. So diaspora to vote, yes. That's a constitutional provision. Diaspora has a right to vote. It is about time. We should graduate from depriving the diaspora from voting. We see Senegalese coming here, Senegalese in the Gambia voting, Guinea-Bissau people voting, Guinea-Conakry voting, Nigerians voting. So we are all in the same region. So why should we deprive our diasporas from voting? We should give them every possibility to also participate in the electoral system. Well, we should not increase the percentage of deposits. Well, well, that's, now when we come to consideration stage, we can discuss that. Just one, use of national languages in parliament is a constitutional matter, which is not here. We have to look at that. I'm coming up with a private members bill. You can all support me so that We can use national languages here. The whole of West Africa is using national languages in their parliaments. Why not us? So we should graduate from using foreign language only. It's a shame that we are still doing that. It says we maintain our marbles. The marbles are brought here by the colonialists because we are a small country with small population. You know, at that time, the population was just about 300,000, 400,000. Now we are 2 million plus. Maybe to use marbles, according to the IEC, is a big challenge because of the number of candidates. Imagine if you have 20 candidates or 10 candidates, you put 10 boxes, 15 boxes. Then the voter will go, who is this? Who is that? Who is that? And then the colors are also looking alike. If you look at the color of brown, you will see another close brown, another brown. Are people able to differentiate those things? No, you know, it's a problem. You know, and concerning the illiteracy also. So we think that since the whole of West Africa is doing paper ballot, if we enlighten our people, you know, to the extent that they can also understand this, you know, we don't see any problem. When we are doing the coalition primary elections, we use the paper ballot, and it was very easy. Simple explanation, everybody understands. So we see no reason why we cannot graduate from this AKA system. 6,000 is too small for a mayor. Well, don't focus on the person who is, or the position of mayor. Focus on the person who wants to participate, the citizen who wants to participate in that election. They are not yet mayors. They are Gambian citizens, you know, trying to participate in an election. So if we make it, just like we said, if we make the threshold very high, you may be disenfranchising or by default, obstructing others from participating. Clause 42.2, we are recommending 1,000 nominators. Yes, you know, I read this thing, but very quickly. What we are recommending for mayors is 1,000 nominators for that place. That is our recommendation, 1,000 nominators. Because they are dealing with regions. You know, while the constituency is dealing with just the constituency, these people are dealing with a larger population. You know, you look at Basay, 7 constituencies. So to get 1,000 from all the 7 constituencies should not be a problem for anybody who is actually having some support. Sami, we support the Alcalo to do the India. Well, that's what we put there. You also went for 2 million for deposit. Well, if we check our former presidents, when they were becoming president, none of them have 2 million. So it's not about money. It's about, here, the brain. What can they offer to the Gambian people? Elections should be about that. It's competition of ideas, not competition of money. So we should not focus on money, really, for as far as I'm concerned. Diaspora should vote, yes, that's the law. And this time, we are resolved to ensure that the diaspora vote. That's why we put marble, stroke, paper. Feasible for whatever is feasible for the IEC, let them conduct that. Because only marble was there before. And they cannot carry all these thousands of boxes, you know, to Europe and to Angola, to South Africa, all those countries. It's not possible. So when we make a paper ballot, it's easier, both in the country and outside the country. So they should just do more and more sensitization relating to that. Lower Salem, the reason behind citizens vying for nomination. Well, people have different reasons why they buy. You know, we cannot preempt that here. But we assume that everybody wants to participate in the election to serve the Gambian people to the best of his or her ability. IC depends on only donor funding. I don't agree with that. But according to section 44, let me read that, section 44 of the Constitution. 44. The Independent Electoral Commission shall submit its annual estimates of expenditure to the President for presentation to the National Assembly in accordance with this Constitution. The President shall cause the estimates to be placed before the National Assembly without amendment, but may attach to them his or her own comments and observations. And I think the practice here is we do not even touch the IEC's budget. It's a crucial and very delicate sector. So we give them all that they require to conduct elections. And the IEC is also, they can also get gifts, donations, and so on from, like-minded organizations in the world that are out to promote democracy in the world, genuine democracy. So they can get funding. They are not restricted as much not to get funding from those areas. So these thresholds, unreasonable thresholds, like he's saying, putting high threshold of deposit amounts is unreasonable. Well, that's Talinding. Talinding is saying that. Type of paper ballot. Well, I really agree with you. I think he's not here. The IEC will definitely come with a regulation and look at the best form of using paper ballot to make it as easier as possible and to ensure that it is done properly. Whatever is feasible for our people, whatever is easier for our people, that's what we should use. Huh? Because the example they give us, I think that's what he is complaining. They put all the pictures and all the colors in one small paper. It's like you go, and if there are many candidates, it will be difficult. But if you put big pictures on each paper, you have 10 candidates, and they have their big pictures, and they have their big colors, whatever, and then they are on the table. You pick the papers, and then you go in hiding, and then you pick your favorite candidate. Nobody will push you, and then you fold it and put it in an envelope and come in front of everybody. You put it in the box. That's very easy. Yes. Yes. Fatu K, Honorable, nominated. IEC is ready to hold registration in the diaspora. So IEC is ready. They told us they are ready. What is holding them is the marbles. So we'll give them the support to ensure that they hold registration. We met them not once, not twice. Don't stop murmuring here. You've already got your time. Attestation should be both alcalo and sevo. Well, when we come to consideration stage, we'll consider that. But the committee is resolved that we leave it with the alcalos and considering the registration that has already taken place. Honorable Speaker, on that note, I thank all members for their participation and the suggestions that they have made. We will keep those suggestions to ensure that when we come to the floor, we'll be able to put some of those arguments to ensure that we get the right and proper document that we require for the Gambia's election. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member, for responding to those issues raised. And when be it resolved that this Honorable Assembly do adopt the report of the Joint Committee of Human Rights and Constitutional Matters and Local Government, Lands, IEC, and Ombudsman on the Election Bill 2023. Those in favor, please say aye.
Honorable Chair, with amendments. With amendments.
Those not in favor, please say no.
No, Honorable Chair, with amendments, please. Because members are not considered with amendments.
Honorable Member for Lower Salem, you are out of order. You cannot use your mic and interrupt it. You are out of order. Honorable members, have they voted? Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it.
Honorable Chair.
Clerk, we may proceed. Lower Salem.
Honorable Chair, I think you need to listen to members too. We are uploading this report with amendments because members raised a pertinent issues here. And in fact, the movers with amendments.
Honorable members, those amendments, when you reach to the committee of the whole house, you can make them. Make them.
Then it's not binding. What we approved?
So, honorable member, at the consideration stage of a bill, you cannot tell me You cannot amend at the, then what's the essence of the consideration stage at the committee of the whole house?
No, because there are precedent that is set here.
Which precedents?
During the budgetary session, that committee report is always adopted. And if it is adopted, then it's binding. Means we can't do anything again. That is why we are restricted to make an amendment during the budget.
Consideration stage of a bill, committee of the whole house. It gives you, member please, member for Lower Salum, you made an observation, I'm responding, you are engaging into a futile conversation. Consideration stage of a bill avails members the opportunity to amend, either add, delete, or leave. And you vote, either part by part, or page by page, or clause by clause, and it's the sole discretion of the members at this time to effect amendments so as they so wish. Clerk, we may proceed.
Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker.
Thank
Honorable
you.
Speaker. Honorable Speaker.
Laying of papers and reports.
Honorable Speaker.
Continues. Report Roman number 5.
Honorable Speaker.
Report of the Joint Committee of Agriculture and Rural Development held on the Animal Health Bill 2020.
Honorable Speaker.
By Honorable Chairpersons of the committee.
Honorable Chair, you have the floor.
Thank you
Co-chair.
very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. Honorable Speaker, I am given the privilege to present this important report on behalf of the committee. That's the report of the Joint Committee of the Select Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development and the Select Committee on Health, Disaster, Humanitarian Relief, and Refugees of the National Assembly. Honorable Speaker, I will go to the acknowledgement straight. The Joint Committee expresses its appreciation to the Office of the Clerk for providing the necessary support, staff, and logistics, which enable the committee to carry out exhaustive consultation with all relevant stakeholders to deliver a report as stipulated by the Standing Order 66-2A. The Joint Committee is impressed by the diligence of the Ministry of Agriculture, its line departments, and other stakeholders, the subject matter specialists who demonstrated professionalism in their presentation and recommendations to enrich the bill in both content and form. Honorable Speaker, introduction. Honorable Speaker, I rise to table before this August Assembly the report of Joint Committee of Agriculture and Health on the Animal Health Bill 2022 for the consideration and adoption of this August Assembly. The first and second reading of the Animal Health Bill took place in September 2022. During the third ordinary session of 2022 legislative year, the bill was referred to the Joint Committee by the Assembly Business Committee, ABC, for further scrutiny. The Joint Committee reviewed each of the clauses in the Animal Health Bill 2022 and hereby presented our recommendations and observations as detailed below. Honorable Speaker, the Joint Committee agreed to work on a rotational chairmanship to steer the affairs of the Joint Committee and acknowledge the requirement for each of the committees compromising the Joint Committee to have a quorum before the Joint Committee could proceed with its meetings. Mandates of the committees. Honorable Speaker, the Standing Order 69 spelled out the mandate of the committee as follows. List out the witnesses, hold proceedings, and take evidences from witnesses. B, record the opinion of the committee on each clause and schedule of the bills and apprehend any amendment recommended. C, present amendment in order to which the Standing they stand in the bill. D, present a report incorporate the summary of the evidences from the witnesses, the opinion of the committee on the clauses, and attach relevant record of the minutes of the proceedings of the committee. Let me speak of methodology. The methodologies used in collecting evidences, Honorable Speaker, A was consultation with stakeholders, B, review of documents and position papers, 3C, retreats, we conducted a retreat, and D, convene a validation meeting. That was the validation of the report. Honorable Speaker, proceedings. These proceedings were scrutiny, consideration, findings, and recommendation. On that, Honorable Speaker, I will quickly refer the plenary to the relevant parts and clauses of the bill to agree themselves with the recommendations being put into the report by the committee. And on that note, Honorable Speaker, I will move quickly to the composition of the committee. The list of the committee members were Honorable Omar Dabo, the chairperson for agriculture, Honorable Ahmad Kamara, the chairperson of health, and Mikoli, the vice chair, Honorable Momo Lamin Bisila, the vice chair of health, Honorable Yaya Sanya, member.
Observation, Chair. I'm Speaker.
No.
I'm not Sila, I am Ba.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please.
Thank you. Honorable Asanture, member. Honorable Omar Jamme, member. Honorable Sen Jawara, member. Honorable Lamin Jesane, member. Honorable Bakar Baji, member. Honorable Mfaldi Kora, member. Honorable Alubalde, member. Honorable Biram J. Esso, member. Honorable Yunusa Enba, member. Honorable Musa Baji, member. Honorable Padembo Sane, member. Honorable Kibimbalo, member. Honorable Dauda Jang, member. Honorable Bakar Kora, member. And Honorable Ablasis, member. Honorable Speaker, the subject matter specialists were Dr. Yaya H. Yaya Mohammed Ba, subject matter specialist, and two, Mr. Alpha Jallo, subject matter specialist, Justice Aminata El Arangom, subject matter specialist. All the three above are from health, and Mr. Alpha Ba is a subject matter specialist for the two committees. Mr. Lamin MS Job, subject matter specialist, and Dr. Amaso. Our support staff to the committees were Mrs. Sarata Bojang, committee clerk, Mr. Esa Sonko, committee clerk, Alari Gillen, committee clerk, Mr. Morsilla, committee clerk, and Ms. Fatumata K. Sisao, research officer, and Ms. Amibaro, research officer. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, in conclusion, in view of the above mentioned observations and recommendations, the Joint Committee of Agriculture and Health hereby submit this report for your consideration and adoption by the August Assembly, and for the proposed recommendation to stand as part of the bill. On that note, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move. Thank you.
Seconder, member for Lower Salon.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And on that note, I'm also part of the committee and urge members to support the report with their recommendations. Thank you.
It has been moved and seconded that this Honorable Assembly to consider the report of the Joint Committee of Agriculture and Rural Development, as well as that of Health on the Animal Health Bill 2021. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Any honorable member who wishes to take part in the debate may do so by show of turn. Honorable member, by way of procedure, you may please wind up the debate.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Let me thank the plenary for unanimously adopting this report without any contribution for any honorable member. Thank you so much.
Thank you, honorable members. I now put the question. Be it resolved that this honorable assembly do adopt the report of the Joint Committee of Agriculture and Rural Development and as well as health on the Animal Health Bill 2021. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Clerk, we may proceed, please.
Thank you. Laying of papers and reports. Report number 7, Roman 7, report of the Public Petitions Committee on the closure of the petition from Gambian stranded in the UAE 2020 by the Honorable Chairperson of the committee.
Honorable Chair, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the committee has taken this particular petition with seriousness because it is relating to the rights of Gambian citizens. The committee also thanked the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, International Relations, and Gambians abroad for appearing before the committee and responding to issues raised by the public. The committee is grateful to the offices of the Speaker and the Clerk of the National Assembly in providing logistical and technical support, especially in trying to establish contacts with the petitioners during the consideration of the petition. Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the Standing Committee on Public Petitions and pursuant to Standing Order 128 2B, it is my honor to present to this Assembly the report of the Committee on its consideration of the Public Petitions number 2 of 2022 regarding the emergency plight of Gambians stranded in the United Arab Emirates, UAE. Honorable Speaker, it is in line with this that the National Assembly received this petition from Gambians stranded in the UAE. At the time of filing this petition, the Standing Committee on Public Petitions was not even established. Upon the composition of the committee, efforts were immediately made to invite the petitioners to discuss on the matters raised that would guide members on the immediate next step. However, all efforts proved futile, leaving the committee with no option but to discontinue the consideration of the petition or the inquiry. However, considering the gravity of this matter, the committee decided to summon the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, International Relations, and Gambians abroad, represented by Mr. Lang Yabo, Permanent Secretary, and Mr. Fansu Bojang, the then Gambian ambassador to the UAE at the time, to understand what actually happened and take steps, and the steps taken by the ministry and the mission to address the matter, and to further discuss on possible steps and comprehensive measures to swiftly respond to plight of Gambians in the diaspora, especially during times of emergency. Honorable Speaker, the method we've taken, like other petitions received by the committee, various methods were adopted to gather evidence in dealing with this petition. These include public hearings with 2 officials from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs were invited to make submission on the issues raised in the petition. However, efforts to have the petitioners in the public hearing proved futile. On the overview of the committee, you can see the composition. Honorable Swaibu Ture, Chairperson, Fatou K. Jawara, Honorable Vice Chairperson, Honorable Amadou Kamara, Member, Honorable Suleiman Sao, Member, Honorable Keba Lamfovana, Member, Honorable Kemo Gasama, Member, Honorable Chibi Jallo, Mbalo, Member, Honorable Lamin J. Sani, Member, Honorable Haruna Bari, Member, and the support staff, Mrs. Hadi Dandijabi, Subject Matter Specialist, Mr. Karu Salla, Subject Matter Specialist, Mr. Mamadou A. Mba, Assistant Senior Committee Clerk, Mr. Ibrahim Jao, Assistant Senior Committee Clerk, Mrs. Alimatu Tamba, Assistant Senior Committee Clerk, Ms. Mary Mendy, Research Officer. Honorable Speaker, the committee derives its mandate from Section 109, just like the Constitution says. The petitioners claim. The petitioners informed the committee that they have been struggling to communicate and access urgently needed emergency support from the Gambia Embassy in Dubai. They claim that they have been sitting for almost 4 months unemployed during that period and insufficient income for survival. They further claim that all they wanted was to come back to the Gambia, although the airports were closed. Some of them with cancelled resident visas due to job loss either exit the country or change the status of the visa at a cost of more than 35,000 dirham, or to pay a fine of 350 dirham a day. Honorable Speaker, the petitioners claim to have serious hitches in accessing the embassy in UAE via any of the designated channels, as the embassy lacks a website. However, after establishing communication with the office months later, they, the petitioners, were asked to submit a list of Gambians willing to return home. This was done accordingly, with a list of over 60 Gambians, including 16 students willing to return home. Having submitted this list, they claim that the embassy went cold on them, even though a follow-up was made on 10th June 2020. Moreover, even though the petitioners acknowledge that it is obvious and unarguable that it is difficult to airlift all Gambians in the world, they allege that the United Arab Emirates government, under the leadership of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed ibn Rashid Al Maktoum, has announced that they were ready to lend a helping hand to work with any government or embassy that wants to repatriate their people stranded in their country. Thus, the petitioners demanded the following. One, they demanded that the government of the Gambia take the opportunity that is on offer from the UAE government to repatriate these stranded Gambians. Two, the UAE government and Ghanaian embassy have successfully arranged to repatriate Gambians, its citizens, on scheduled dates, 12th and 16th June 2020. Thus, the government of the Gambia can negotiate with either neighbor Senegalese or Ghanaian governments to ensure that stranded Gambians can board the same flights to the Gambia for the benefit of those who can afford to buy their own tickets. They also demand that to give them confirmation on flights, advocating flying to the Gambia starting from the 1st of July 2020 onwards, so that the Gambians abroad can return at their own expense. Honorable Speaker, we spoke to Ambassador Lang Yabo, Permanent Secretary. Yes. The Permanent Secretary, who at the time of filing this petition was the Gambia's ambassador to the mission in New York, informed the committee that the issue of this petition died naturally as it was overtaken by events. He stated that this was a difficult period to all Gambians, as there was a lockdown in almost all countries, leading to the closure of embassies and grounding of flights. He, however, noted that the Gambia's embassy in the UAE was very proactive in supporting the stranded Gambians to the extent of providing feeding to seriously affected ones. Honorable Speaker, because he was not the ambassador at the time, we decided to also call Mr. Fansu Boja, Gambia's ambassador to the UAE at the time of filing this petition. And confirming to the committee that he was aware of the petition, the former ambassador informed the committee that his embassy had been in consultation with the petitioners and other Gambians residing in the UAE. He said that his office had been in contact with a group claiming to represent Gambians stranded in the UAE. He outlined the steps taken by his office and Ministry of Foreign Affairs taken to address the matter. On 10th June 2020, a letter was received from a group of Gambians in the Emirates seeking for support to be repatriated, he said. it was realized that countries with national airlines deployed their airlines to airlift their nationals. With the Gambia not in this position and all commercial flights grounded, the government wrote to the UAE government to allow the two major airlines, Emirates and Etihad, to repatriate the Gambian nationals. This was approved by the UAE government, which was followed by the embassy requesting from the Gambian community to submit a list of people wanting to return home. Subsequently, 58 names were collected from that list. 40 nationals have legal status, 18 with expired work permit. This list was submitted to the UAE government. Initially, the plan was to repatriate all of them if they could fill a commercial flight. This list was thus considered hugely insufficient to fill a commercial flight. Subsequent discussions were made, he said, and the embassy secured grant of free air tickets for anyone willing to return to the Gambia. This time, a list of 17 people showed interest to return home. But by the time of processing, only 9 showed the willingness to come back. Thus, these 9 were provided the tickets to return home. The ambassador further confirmed that it took about 5 to 6 months to provide tickets for these 9 people. Responding to the question that the UAE was providing free air tickets for returnees, the ambassador stated that contrary to the petition, the UAE government did not provide countries with free air tickets. Instead, they provided a window of opportunity to countries with a national carrier. Thus, Gambia could not benefit from this opportunity as there was no national carrier and that the country lacked sufficient funds to support the repatriation. So, reasons for the closure of the petition. Honorable Speaker, the petition was also one of the petitions received during the height of the pandemic, when the Assembly was not sitting and the Petitions Committee not established. Upon formation and the composition of the committee, members set up to hear from the petitioners. All efforts, as indicated in the introduction, proved futile. This loss of contact with the petitioners means the committee could no longer continue the consideration of the petition. Conclusion. Protection of lives, Honorable Speaker, rights and interests of citizens is a fundamental responsibility of every state. This extends to nationals living outside the borders of the Gambia. It is obvious that the COVID-19 has left a tremendous mark on almost every facet of the society. This includes the grounding of airlines and the closure of both land, sea, and sea-air borders of the state. This culminated to a massive breakdown in the pattern of global movement of individuals. That said, countries with small economies face a mighty task in supporting the repatriation of its citizens. It is certain that the Gambia simply was not prepared to handle this daunting mission due to limited resources to the disposal of its foreign missions. Lack of proper coordination at the national level to respond to such emergencies and the absence of a comprehensive communication strategy with the citizens in the diaspora. It is hoped that despite the closure of this petition, this report shall open the dialogue for a multi-stakeholder consultation and a comprehensive policy formulation and review, as well as the mobilization of adequate funds and budget support to respond to such crises whenever they arise. Recommendation: 1, that the government of the Gambia, through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, should create a comprehensive national plan in response to emergency situations affecting Gambians in the diaspora. 2, that the National Assembly ensure that adequate contingency fund is allocated to MOFA in repatriation missions during emergencies. 3, that all Gambian embassies and missions establish a comprehensive communication strategy to enable citizens to access services that they provided in their jurisdiction. And 4, that all missions should review and update the data of all Gambians residing within their respective jurisdictions. On that note, Honorable Speaker, I thank you and thank all the members for their listening ears, and thank the National Assembly Service and Authority for providing all the facilities for us to go into this. On that note, I beg to move. Thank you.
Thank you. Any second member for Nyamina West?
Thank you very much, Speaker.
I rise to second the motion. Thank you.
It has been moved and seconded that this assembly do consider the report of the Public Petitions Committee on the closure of the petition from Gambians stranded in the UAE 2020. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Any honorable member who wishes to take part in the debate may do so now. The member for Kiang West.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, it is important to note our observations about the proceedings of the House. If we feel that we are limited by procedures to raise concerns to clear as members of Parliament, as representatives. Honorable Speaker, these are important documents. This is why we raise here in the morning that our agenda is too overloaded, that it will constrain us to sufficiently look at these important documents that affects lives and livelihood of our citizens, both within and beyond the borders of this country.
Point of order.
A point of order. Can we hear
Speaker,
that?
can you please ask the honorable member to confine himself with the report of the committee, please?
Honorable member, please confine yourself within the report.
Honorable Speaker, these are important issues and these are important documents that affects lives and livelihood of the people. So therefore, it is important that we give a time to it. It's unfair. It's unfair. For me, it doesn't matter who talks to me. To say, don't talk, please. People want to go home. Don't waste our time. What's that? Because our agenda is overloaded. The people are tired. They want to go home. Let's give an agenda that we can look at sufficiently and we do justice to the documents. Honorable Speaker, looking at this document, it is talking about lives of the people who live beyond the borders of this country at United Arab Emirates, who also contributed towards the socio-economic development of this country. We know the amount of GDP remittance constitutes in our country. We know that. These are people who are at the diaspora, who are feeding thousands of families, hundreds of thousands of families here. At this difficult moment, and they are stranded over there. And they claimed that there was insufficient or improper communication between them and the embassies. They were not given sufficient attention to be repatriated. This is what the committee is talking about. And having consulted with both the petitioners and the embassies, the missions at the diaspora. This is why when we make allocations for our embassies, I would agree with the minister that all these funds that we are allocating to the embassies is not about for them to go and make profit and bring monies back. Sometimes life of the people at the diaspora sometimes is at risk and they need to come back home. They need to come back home. At some point, when you are at diaspora, you don't see anything more than home. You just want to come home because of the condition you are confronted with. And we do not have a fund that can take care of emergency situation to repatriate our people home. They lose their employment. Food becomes a problem for some of them, as indicated in the report, and they cannot come home because there was no sufficient fund to bring them home. Honorable Speaker, if you get to the conclusion, at the second to last paragraph, I will just read this. It says, lack of proper coordination at the national level to respond to such emergencies and the absence of comprehensive communication strategy with the citizens in the diaspora. We expect that for there to be a comprehensive communication between them. to communicate with them. At the emergency, you know their problem. Who wants to come home and who does not want to come home? But if that's not in place, which means you will limit them. So as from today, as recommended here, there has to be that comprehensive communication. And that comprehensive communication should be known by the parliament. And also the data to be reviewed at the diaspora, at the level of the missions, to know the number of Gambian citizens present at your various jurisdictions as a mission. And you update this data so that you know whenever there is time for such emergencies, you can be able to give a statistic and repatriate them without such problems. Honorable Speaker, if we get to the recommendations, it says the government of the Gambia, through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, should create a comprehensive national plan in responding to emergency situations affecting Gambians in the diaspora. That has to be done. That comprehensive national plan should be there. These recommendations should be binding. These are people who are contributing so much to our economic development. So we cannot sit here and allocate funds to the embassies, to the missions out there, and these people are confronted with situations and they just want to come home, nothing but to come home, and they cannot come home. That is unacceptable. I think the committee has done a good job. What is left is to ensure that these recommendations become binding. We see that the government, takes these things serious, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs takes it serious, and the missions that they have beyond the borders of this country take these recommendations serious, so that our people can feel being Gambians when emergency situations arise. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I now give the floor to the member for Fonyi Bintang.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Just clearly stated by member for Kiang West, I also want to add my contribution. It is important for us to note the people, especially Gambian citizens that are outside the country. Whatever we call a country, it includes people. Whatever we call a nation includes people. Whether in the Gambia or outside the Gambia, they are our people. The reason as to why we have embassies outside the Gambia is for them to look after the Gambians and their welfare and their well-being. That is something which is very, very important. There is no embassy without its people in a particular country. If the people are not, if our people, we are sure that they will not be in any country, we will not send there any embassies. Because we are not sending their embassies for them to go and beg for money to bring it to us. No. We are sending their embassies to go and protect and defend our people when they are faced with challenges that is related to it, especially in the UAEs. In UAE, it's a difficult situation when you leave your country. You have no relative. Your relative and your guardian become your embassy. Your protector become your embassy. Your defender become your embassy. But then, if your embassy is not there at the time of your call, it becomes so disheartening. We have seen all over the world how our people are treated. And the only thing that we should protect is our people. Whether people understand it or not, whether they want to hear it or not, we don't care. But it must be said. Whether they want to go home or not, we don't care. But it must be said. You understand? The realities are the realities. So our people, wherever they are, and our embassies, wherever they are, their first primary responsibility is to protect our people. Protect them in terms of give them shelter, accommodation, and also protect them from those laws and protect them from entering into the prison. You go to mile 2, mile 7, wherever you go to, you will never see a white man in those prisons. Why? Because they are aware that our people are to be protected. Americans are to be protected. But Africans are never aware of this reality, that we owe our people, that we need to protect our people, and their life matter to us. Why are we not seeing white people here in our prisons? And if you go to any other prison in the world, we are seeing black people. I know you will not be happy, Honorable Speaker.
Member for Fonyi Bintang Karanai, please confine yourself to the report. We are not in an adjournment debate where members will stand and speak on general knowledge.
Honorable Speaker, thank you. But I know you have not cross-checked the petition, the petition letter correctly. Because this is definitely a worrisome situation. And in this, it clearly talks about the embassies and their function and their role. And during the COVID-19, our people also were stranded in UAEs, and this continues up to date, Honorable Speaker. As I speak to you now, I have clear evidence of these realities, and some of my friends were found wanting in the process. So our people, as I said, wherever they are, the first thing that the government should do is to protect them. That is the reason as to why we allocate funds to embassies. That is the very reason, and no other reason. If our people are not there, if our people will not suffer, we will never allocate funds. So now it should be a point of call to all the embassies in the world, not to be accommodating National Assembly members or other protocols, but to be accommodating those that are in need, those that are in cells, and they should go into the cells and see the condition of our people in those countries. That is of importance, and that is the scope of the debate. I thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you, honorable members. May I now call upon the mover to respond and wind up the debate.
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I think only two that actually intervene, and they're all just emphasizing the recommendations that we have made, and we thank them for that. Because if the embassies or missions don't have any contingency fund and crises occur, emergencies occur, they will not be able to take any action. And that's what we have seen. The ambassador told us there was no fund, emergency fund with them, and they have no funds whatsoever. And the ministry also does not have any emergency fund. And this is why we come with this recommendation, so that a fund will be created. It will be just lying with the MOFA, so that any other embassy that has experienced that type of crisis, they'll be able to provide some funds to that particular embassy to carry out whatever support they intend to give to those stranded there or those afflicted by those crises. The other thing that was mentioned is data. Honorable Speaker, all missions and all embassies definitely should create a database so that you know all the Gambians that are within your jurisdiction, so that immediately something happens, a crisis like this, they'll be able to connect, they'll be able to contact, they'll be able to connect, so that they'll be able to deal with the crisis. And that's why we were talking about a comprehensive national plan, should include relevant stakeholders, so that everybody is on board and we put ideas to each other and solve this problem. It is a grave issue that you have Gambians stranded in the world, and all countries are supporting their citizens, but the Gambians are just there, shouting, and they have no help. You wouldn't know until you find yourself in that type of situation. So I thank you for moderating this meeting, and thank all the members for their listening ears and those who have participated. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, and thank you, honorable members, and thank you to all those who participated in the debate and those who have agreed but did not participate. Honorable members, be it resolved that this Honorable Assembly do adopt the report of the Public Petitions Committee on the closure of the petition from the Gambians strand. I take it again. Be it resolved that this Honorable Assembly do adopt the report of the Public Petitions Committee on the closure of the petition from Gambians stranded in the UAE of the year 2020. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Honorable members, it's a good time to thank all of you for today's marathon session. And inshallah, looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow. On that note, be it resolved that this August Assembly do stand adjourned until Tuesday, 5th December 2023. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. This Assembly now stand adjourned until Tuesday, 5th December 2023 at 10 a.m. prompt.